yeah. Calling all cars. Ship to ship. Sea to sea. Like-minded people. Open-minded people. Are you out there? Welcome to Thick Skin with Jeff Ross. I always say life is hard, but we're getting through it together. We're doing a late-night podcast from the bunker today. It's fun doing it late at night. I mean, I feel super loose.
Yeah.
So, Cousin Ed has prepared a hell of a show today. It must have taken him half an hour.
At least 25 minutes.
No, he was grinding out. He was grinding out because we actually had internet for this episode. So we are prepared. We have some touchy subjects prepared. We have a very special roast in peace for Peter Mayhew, Chewbacca. So
yeah,
we'll work towards that a little bit later. But
all the punchlines are in Wookiee, so you won't get it.
Yeah, I hear they're planning a very big Wook.
Are you going to the Wook?
I'm going to the Wook.
You going to the Wook?
Invited. I don't know the family that well.
I heard it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Star Wars band is going to be playing.
I heard that his ashes are going to be stored in a galaxy far away. We could do this all day, but the point is we will be doing a formal roast in peace a little bit later. But I want to introduce a couple of gentlemen that are friends of mine for a long time, like most of my career, half of my career. Great guys. They happen to be brothers, two funny guys. It's Randy and Jason Sklar. Were you always brothers, or did you guys find each other late in life and go, this guy looks like me?
We went on an audition.
You go on a commercial audition, you just see like all the dudes that you're like,
kind of look like you.
This is what the industry thinks I look like.
Neither of us got it, but we found each other.
Jason, does it bother you that Randy is 10% better looking?
It doesn't.
No.
He gets hit on by every
I get hit on so much.
Gay superstar actor.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
I get nothing.
I think it's the mustache, bud.
I think it is.
Stash.
You guys are rocking the stash, and
Saw
it
you.
looks really good.
You know,
Randy's wearing a mustache.
shows I'm ready. I'm
He
ready.
looks
to
really good.
Thanks.
Yeah,
You too.
both you guys.
You
do.
too, man.
I give it up.
You guys are so busy doing your podcast.
Yes.
Dumb People Town.
Which you did and killed.
Thank
Remember
you.
we
so
did the
good on it.
story of the guy who drove into the second floor of the house?
Yeah.
Drove his car to the second floor of the house.
It's dumb. It's a show that just tries to fight the tidal wave of dumb. That
We
is
do believe the
crashing.
world's getting dumber, or dumber's getting louder.
I strongly,
absolutely.
firmly believe.
Or as our phones are getting smarter, we're getting dumber.
Yeah.
Because you do less. So you're like, I don't know how to do
Look
this.
it up. I don't have to know that. Like you're just discarding.
I feel like remember
information.
like when we were younger, people would, if they didn't know something, they'd kind of cower a little bit, be like, I'm sorry, I don't. You know,
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I don't read the paper. I don't watch TV.
I'm
Yeah,
so
yeah,
sorry.
You
I don't know
guys
anything
talk about that. I don't
politics.
really want to inject myself in this.
Now it's
conversation.
like, I don't know, and I'm going to tell you. You know, it kind of steps up a little bit more. So we try and
People
fight
are
it.
proud of their like.
Proud about being dumb.
Yeah.
dumb and douchey. This just happened to me and Randy. Was it today or yesterday?
Yesterday, we're walking in Silver Lake. We're walking on the sidewalk, and
We hear from behind us. Okay.
on your right,
On your right.
and we're like, okay,
First of all, on your right says that you own the sidewalk. It basically says move, bitch.
Move.
Like
Yeah.
So on your right, so we expect to see a guy on a bike who should,
like a bike messenger, a guy who's late for his job or
we're
whatever.
like- so of course we get out of the way because we're like, let's get out of the
we
way.
jump out of the way. We look to our right. It's a guy jogging. I'm like, what? You can't fucking
On your
say,
right, you can't fucking say on your right
if you're just running.
because on your right means I'm on top of something that I
Fuck you,
can't.
dude.
can't stop. Yeah.
I'm moving 30 miles an hour. I'm training for the fucking
Yeah. I
marathon.
can't control these legs.
Yeah.
Once I set them to go, I can't move them.
Wait, you
Dude,
want me
once-
to stop?
Once my stride is full gallop, bro.
I'm
Yeah, get out of my way.
I'm
On your right.
Yeah.
On your fucking right.
I'm on a donkey with rabies.
I
You're
really can't stop. I wish I could
We
stop.
watched him run by. We were like, are you
I
serious?
can't believe.
What an asshole. Like, if you are running, if I ever am running, I'm always like,
Excuse me, my bad. Excuse me.
I'll go
on
around.
me.
I'll run out into the traffic to allow you to continue walking.
Absolutely.
Because
And it wasn't like we were in a bike lane or a jogging lane. It's the sidewalk.
I just think people just don't care. They
On
start
your
getting-
right.
So that to me is like a trend that's happening. So,
Entitlement.
Entitlement.
Maybe.
It's entitlement, and it's like, I don't care about anyone but me.
Yeah.
And it's stupid. So we believe, and that is kind of the basic premise we've taken with the podcast, which is that there's dumb shit happening all the time. It's now being documented more than ever. Like police stations are now on
Police, not stations. Yeah.
police departments are on Facebook. So they actually, it's almost like they're
It's
your.
very easy for them.
It's like they're your racist uncle who's like, tweeting
Right.
about stuff or like put it out there. Or their police stations are just like,
Trying to be funny about
Trying to
stuff.
be
They're like
funny.
on Facebook, we can say what we really think. We don't have to be like professional.
I'm not
Right.
filing a report here. We're just kind of letting you know what's going on. So like they can be kind of funny. So all these stories kind of
I
happen.
follow the Pope on Instagram.
Do you really?
Do you really?
I accidentally direct messaged him a dick pic, and now he
you?
follows me back. I'll be here all week.
He thought it was a Chinese kid dick.
That is
What
bizarre.
a treat having both Sklars here.
Two Sklars doing dueling Sclarsons.
That is bizarre.
That is
Roast battle
weird.
fans, remember when you roasted each other? I want to reminisce about that.
So great.
Well, we could do it for a second because you guys, I mean, it
It's
was
great.
one of the most epic roast battles, and I'm proud to say that I did make a big pitch.
You did?
and it took me about a month to secure both Randy and Jason to battle each other because obviously it's like, talk about like thick skin.
Personal
I mean,
stuff.
these guys know each other so well. And they're also business partners, and I know how it is being in a partner because I've been on tour with Dave Attell.
That's right.
Poor God, on Memorial Day weekend, and second show added. But
Yeah.
enough about me. This is
Enough.
really your moment.
About us. Let's take it.
Like it takes balls to like roast battle to begin with, than
Right.
to roast battle somebody who knows you so well.
That's
And then there were a lot of let's save it and we'll talk about it later. Okay.
First things first. We have a new bit. We're going to give birthday shout-outs.
Let's
Love
do
it.
it. Let's do
It's
it.
Billy Joel.
It's Billy Joe's
How old is
birthday.
he? Yeah.
70. His 70th birthday this year.
Wow.
He added actually 4 years when his business manager took all his money. He's only 66.
Have you seen him lately? He's the size of a piano, man.
He's going to be buried in a piano, man.
Oh, that's mean. I hope he doesn't have a heart attack.
I really-
I really love him.
Listen, we ought to all know by now.
Now that Billy is 70, the River of Dreams is what he calls his bed. Come on, Billy. You can take a joke. The Knicks are so bad, Billy Joel's the only reason to go to Madison Square Garden right now.
Period.
Exactly.
And he plays it every week to make his money back.
Who else's birthday is it?
Oh, man. Harry Truman.
Oh, happy birthday,
Happy
Harry.
birthday,
Birthday,
Harry.
Harry. Yes.
He effectively ended World War II when he dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan, killing around 200,000 people.
Jeez.
That's
Yeah.
a good,
That's sad, but that's history, folks.
It is history.
Historical roast Memorial Day weekend.
Nice.
But enough about
Is that
that.
happening?
This
Is that happening?
This is Harriet Truman's moment. Harry Truman. No relation to Harriet Tubman, although they would have been a hot couple.
They would
Tubman and Truman? I would watch that show. That's like the Rizzolian Isles of its time.
Uh-huh. Tubman and Truman.
Tubman and Truman on TBS.
Tubman and Truman on TNT.
Right after Bones.
He bombs up above ground. She takes him underground.
Tubman and Truman.
Tubman and Truman.
Speaking of bones, Harry Truman would have been 169 years old. He killed more Japanese people than Godzilla did fictionally. Truman ended World War II but started the Korean War. He was the most feared thing in Asia since forks. Good one, Ed.
He did more.
All right.
Okay.
How you feeling? Touchy subjects time?
Yeah. I feel like you guys are super suited for this segment, Touchy
Let's hear it.
Subjects,
Let's get
because
into it.
Ed scours his brain and every newspaper in English to find stuff that, maybe is touchier than other stuff.
Let's get into it. I'm so ready for it.
I feel like this is going to be very reminiscent of Dumb
Dumb
People
People Town.
Town.
Yeah,
so,
let's do it.
this is right up your alley.
Okay.
Love it.
All right, this is a treat, Touchy Subjects.
Touchy subjects.
NASA Chief Jim Bridenstine says there could be a major asteroid strike on Earth in our lifetime and calls for a global study on the threat to our planet. The Federal Emergency Management Agency is conducting drills with NASA. They are starting the Double Asteroid Redirection Test, called DART, which is pretty much what it sounds like. They just purposely crash an object into the asteroid and change its course.
It's a dart.
It's a dart.
Have you watched darts recently, like on ESPN2?
No.
Darts?
Oh, they have it on ESPN
Yeah,
too. I
darts.
saw cornhole.
Well, there's cornhole.
That
Well,
was a lot
so
of fun.
darts was on it, and someone in a giant darts competition. I know we're off subject now, but a guy ran up on stage and grabbed the trophy, and like ran away with it.
Wrestle the trophy. We're
And
like,
I wish there was someone nearby who had a projectile that
a
was
sharp object and accuracy to throw it to get this guy to stop.
No
Wow.
one did anything. He just ran away with it.
You do watch the darts, and you're like, are we watching the men or the women?
I don't know.
That
what-
happens a lot when you're watching darts. Like, both.
Is this a real thing?
Are we
now you
really
made me
gonna-
nervous.
Are you
Ed.
nervous about?
No, this is apparently what's going on. There was
NASA, the chief of NASA, says there could be a major asteroid strike on Earth
In
Yeah.
our lifetime.
in our lifetime. Well,
Which
how
is
old
what-
is this guy? 12?
Yeah, he's.
When he says our lifetime, who's he talking
Calls
about?
for a global study on their threat to our planet. That is just. Don't we have enough scary news?
There's so much.
I mean,
scary
this is very. I mean, I think this is like they should be doing this, right?
By the way, parents everywhere, and we as parents can now use this as fodder.
Yeah.
Better clean up your room. The asteroid's coming. Clean
true.
it up.
That's true.
It's gonna make a
Make your
mess.
bed.
Make
or
your
else
bed.
you want to make. You want the asteroid to hit and have your room look like that? I mean, I'm going to start using.
Your
it.
room looks like an asteroid already hit it.
Yeah. What, did the asteroid already come in here? We have no
I don't know.
idea.
I don't know. Yeah, that's a big deal. Like what were we gonna say?
I think it's fucked up that they're not already on top of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
By the
think
way,
they're going to need to call Bruce Willis.
listen.
And put him on the asteroid and have him blow it up from the inside.
I think that's the only way to do it.
that's all we got.
Can we embed Bruce Willis into the asteroid as it heads here?
Yeah.
Like fly him up, put him in it, and let him blow
Wasn't
it up.
that the solution in that movie?
It was the solution in that
Ben
movie.
Affleck and Bruce Willis.
One stays behind.
and
Ben
one-
Affleck said, "I'd rather be on the asteroid than be married to Jennifer Garner."
That's
Is that
how
what
much
said?
he didn't want to be married to Jennifer Garner.
She's the most beautiful
Put
woman
me
in the
on
world.
the asteroid to blow it up. I can't have
Bruce is
another-
like, "I'll
If you
go."
guys-
He's like, "No, I'll,
Randy, Jason, if you knew the world was going to blow up, how would you spend your last 3 days?
I would eat like a motherfucker. I would just eat everything I wanted to. I would hang out with my kids.
What if they didn't want to hang out with you?
I would still hang out
make
with
them
them.
hang out with
I'd make them
I
hang
want to
out
go
with
to Disneyland with my
Nope,
friends.
Nope.
Come on, I'm playing Fortnite. Give me another minute on this game.
Nope. We're
You
gonna
gotta
hang
hang
out and
know
just try and
why
have as
would
much sex with my wife as possible.
Yeah, just take it on down.
Yeah.
That's
Just
it.
make sure your kids are there while you're
Watch
doing
Well,
it.
no. That can't happen.
While they're sleeping.
You guys can play Fortnite.
Jason told me that Randy's kids are assholes.
My kids aren't
That's a-
assholes.
That's
Although this morning we had some moments. This morning, my kids are old enough that I'm just freely cursing in front of them.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm just
Just
trying to
walking
start
out of
a
the
fight.
house,
I'm
man,
just
like,
trying to
I-
start a fight.
I
yeah,
deserve.
no, we're not. You won't get us to fight.
Jay
but
loves my kids.
I
When's
love
the
his
last time
kids.
you guys had a fight?
on the plane the other day
the
coming
plane
back from Moon Tower Comedy Festival.
So we go to Moon Tower and it's so fun. You know how these comedy festivals are
course.
just a fucking blast.
greatest.
Because why? Because
In Austin.
Austin.
Austin's a great
Well, you're
city.
on the road. When you go on the road, you're usually with your feature or a friend, maybe.
Right.
But
Now you got 100 friends.
now you got 100 friends and people from New York you don't see, and people. It's just the most
all
fun.
your people that you love in the comedy world, and you're like, let's hang out really late. So after the show that we had and after everything kind of went down on Saturday night, we have to take early flights to get back. Our car is picking us up at 4:30 in the morning.
Right.
We're
It's
still up.
3:30. We're still up, and we're like, we're not going to sleep. Let's just hang out. You know what? I'll sleep on the plane. We
I
get
like how there was an hour left when you finally said, you know what, we're not.
I got to 3:15, there could have still been a chance, right? And then we get there at 3:30, we're like, fuck it. It's not gonna happen. So we stay up. We're like, oh, we'll get sleep on the plane. We go to the desk. We don't even have seats yet, and find what we feel like is the cutest, coolest black woman with great eyeglasses, and we're like, this is gonna be our woman.
We're
here.
gonna just
she's
start
gonna
Let's
get
just
working.
go up and just start complimenting the shit out of her. You,
Huh.
girl, you look amazing.
What is up?
Who
How do
brought
you
all
look
this
good?
personality this early in the morning? Come on, are you just getting on or are you just getting off? You're lighting this thing up. Don't smile at us because you're lighting this thing up. And
I
I
came
can't
in here
see
in a
the-
bad mood. I looked at you, and I'm
I
in the
was like,
best mood
Are
of
you
my
kidding
life.
me? What is this
Really?
woman doing? I mean, laying it on as thick as we can, basically begging to get bumped up to like first class.
Sure.
She does what is really nice and gets us an exit row, and she's actually really cool and gets it for us. We're like, this is awesome. I'm like, sweet, exit row. I'm going to sleep for 3 hours, and I'm actually going to wake up somewhat refreshed, and the flight is over.
That's like
course.
time travel. If you can
Yeah.
do that,
That's
and get
time
on
travel.
That's the ideal flight.
That's the ideal
Good
flight.
flight.
Cross your arms, go to sleep, maybe meditate right before I go to sleep, and just go out.
You ever wake up with an erection on a plane? That's embarrassing.
That is
With your pants
embarrassing.
off? That's really embarrassing.
No, that's never happened.
With a kid on your lap.
Sometimes I had to stuff my balls in the overhead compartment.
That's they wouldn't fit.
You ever wake up on a plane upright and in the locked position?
Yes.
That's a bad.
You ever
dream.
wake up with like peanuts all over your dick?
And a dog licking him off,
I'm like,
someone's emotional support dog licking him off.
and they're like, sir, we did not serve honey roasted peanuts here.
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
how you got honey roasted.
By the way, we sell emotional support human T-shirts on our website.
Do you really?
That's so
Oh,
good.
yeah.
Better get those.
JeffRossMerch.com.
Go
Get
get
it.
it.
Get it.
Go
Emotional
get it.
support human. That's what we call the listener.
I
That's
needed
so
one.
good.
By the way, I needed one because I get into my so Jay sits on the end because he got on first. He sits in the window, and I go to sit in the middle. And sitting on the aisle is like a dude bigger than you.
So aggravating.
He's basically like two Bismarckies in one person.
He's like a Shetland Suge Knight, and his arms are like he's not even folded his arms completely. They're just like
It's almost like he's boxing out. in a
I'm like
basketball
he's
game.
into my fucking seat.
Yeah.
I literally am contorted in the
Oh.
weirdest
So
way.
then he puts it on me
I'm
to
like-
where I'm up against the window.
And
like,
I'm
"You
the
can't
whole
do this
time
to
I'm
me."
like, fuck you to Jay. I'm so mad at him because I'm like, this guy is like ruining my ability to sleep, and I'm not going to talk to him.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make this thing racial.
And because it's in the exit row, they don't go back. Seats don't go back.
No.
Right.
So we're just jammed.
You just, I'm like, I got to take it. Did not get any sleep. Did not sleep. Gambled enough to be like, I'm going to just sleep on the plane, and then this guy's in my seat. I was so mad at him that I walked off the plane, grabbed my luggage, and didn't even say goodbye to him.
Oh.
It was
Fight.
like,
Fight.
fight, like legit, like throwing shade. and
Travel's
hate
the
is
most
what-
stressful thing.
Stressful.
All couples fight when they travel.
They do.
And comedy,
We do.
comedy teams too. I
Comedy
guess.
teams too. You
Any
just give
advice for me? Well, I'm gonna
With
ask you that.
Dave?
I'm gonna ask you that too when we're done with Touchy.
For sure,
Subjects,
for
because
sure. We'll-
I'm in a comedy team now, and you guys have stood the test of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll give
We'll
you.
give you advice.
What's next, Ed?
Go.
I just for the record, as a big man, I really feel like you should be required to give your weight when you buy your ticket on
Yeah.
an airplane.
You should.
I shouldn't be next to another big man. It's not fair.
Oh,
for
you next to
anybody.
another big man.
It's not. It's a nightmare.
Talk
We
about
all
talk
need-
about talk about bumping mics.
I mean, we all we want when we get on a plane is a tiny Asian man who folds himself up like origami and has
Maybe hovers above his seat,
Because he
doesn't-
concentrates so
doesn't
well.
have a book, doesn't
just
have a
staring at the back of the chair the whole time.
meditating for 6 hours. That's
I had a
all
guy
we want.
open sardines once and start eating
No,
it.
not. No way.
It was a bus to New Jersey from New York. That was a long
He
time
actually
ago.
made the bus smell better.
One time we were
So how'd you make up? What happens?
just the next day rolled around and I was like, I can't continue to be mad at him.
Yeah. We just were like,
We're
we
in
got
this
stuff
thing.
to do.
We got stuff to do. We got shit to do. I just was like, I can't. Got to
Did you
move
even
fast.
realize he was mad at you?
Oh, I
Yeah,
knew.
I didn't fucking say a word to him. I got my bag and walked out like we never met
like
each
we
other.
were strangers.
Like we were straight. Like we never even met each other. I literally walked out like I don't know who this guy is.
And we were angry.
I was really mad.
But
And
I was more like, with some time and distance, and when we got home, I'm like, we were just mad that we couldn't sleep. It wasn't about each other.
I was really still mad at him.
Yeah. I was mad that I couldn't sleep.
Have you ever pushed Jason?
Oh yeah, we fought one time. We
Physically fought.
in we. Yeah, I can tell you, we were doing like one of those crazy great New York runs where you're like at the comic strip, and then you go over to the stand-up New York. This is back in the 90s. You go to
Right.
stand-up New York, and then you go down to
Caroline's.
Caroline's.
You
and
make the rounds.
Gotham. You make the rounds.
And then you go back and do them all for the late,
Late
shows.
shows.
You're preparing for something.
Yeah,
You
right.
gotta,
Just-
gotta
we were
get your
just a
time.
Saturday night. We was just a
This is
Saturday
like
night.
was
Making
a
some
Saturday
money.
night.
Making some money.
Making some money, going back and forth, and then we hit the comic strip, and the audience was not great for whatever reason. You know, you hit one of those shows where it's not great, and half the room, like on Jay's side of the room, I don't know, they just weren't that great. My side of the room, we got a little bit of laughs, and I, in a stupid way, said, well, I handled my business. Like, you didn't handle your side of the room.
Like I could control these
Like in this-
drunk assholes.
We got into like a physical fight in a cab heading over to another part of town. And the cab driver literally pulled a cab who like needed every fare to gain his
in
medallion.
Central Park.
Like told
In
us
Central Park,
He
pulled
left you
over
there?
and left us
left
out of
us
the cab.
We had to walk.
We had to
through.
walk across the
Yeah.
park late at night, and the guy like didn't even take our money. He's just like, get out,
Get out. He's
get
like,
out.
I can't have this.
I
in
need
my
this.
cab.
I need this medallion badly, but not this badly.
There are family members who won't make it over here because I'm not taking this fare,
Wow.
but I would rather not take this fare than.
That is how much I
So
can't.
so we have done that, but you gotta just get back to.
You also have to get through those things so that you know that it's never that bad. And
strong enough to survive
once
it.
again, travel. It's like
Yeah.
you were running around.
We were running around.
stressed. We were
I
stressed.
get very stressed when I'm late for my spa.
Oh, yes.
You know, like
the worst.
The
Yeah.
worst.
That in it puts you in a weird headspace. Earlier tonight, we didn't know what time we had a set earlier that we did, and I was just unaware of the time, and I'm like running around doing shit for my family,
And I get to the thing, and they're like, "Where's your brother?" And I'm like, "He's gonna be here in like 25
I'm like
minutes."
picking up food for my family in Silver Lake. It's way over here on like.
I'm
this,
like, "I think he'll be here at 9." And they're like, "Well, this woman's doing 11 minutes, and then it's you." And it was 8:35.
so you went on by yourself.
I text Randy. I'm like, "Get the fuck over here now!"
I'm like, I'm trying.
And I was just angry. And
So
then
that stress of driving
Stress.
right on
Yeah.
up and then just literally like driving into the stage and just walking up on stage, stressful.
I don't know how you do it.
Just throw it. It's basically at times it's like throwing a dart at an asteroid.
yeah, you just try and divert the anger.
Do the best thing.
What's
you can.
next, Ed?
All right.
See,
I
brought it
don't
back.
eat flesh. I just drink blood. Chilling.
Wait, hang on. Is that Sir Mix-a-Lot's new song? I don't eat flesh and I just drink blood. There was something about this candy. What?
Those were chilling words spoken by a teen who bit the face and arm of a gas station clerk and then went finger painting with his blood.
What?
Joel Davila was charged with assault with intent to maim and cause mayhem, which is
So we
Pretty
worked
cool
at
sounding.
gas stations when we were in high school.
Oh,
yeah?
really?
The summer between our senior year and going off to college.
You see crazy shit.
You
Yeah.
see crazy shit, and also they wouldn't let us work at the same gas station, and we needed to because we didn't have a car. So our dad would drop us off, and on his way to work, and we had to go to different gas stations because their logic was, if I saw him stealing gas, I wouldn't report it.
like so like
But you don't have a car.
Blood is thicker than gas.
Yeah.
And we said, and we didn't have a car, and I was like, why can't we work? So we worked at separate gas stations.
But they're right though. You wouldn't have told on them.
No
You don't-
way. No way. Like, steal all
I
you
would've
want.
let
Are
it-
you
I
fucking kidding me?
tried to steal so much stuff from that guy. That was the summer that Sprite did the under the cap giveaway game, which Sprite, dummies, it's a clear soda.
Yeah, you
I'm
just-
sitting in the gas station all day looking for every free Sprite I can find. Screw off the cap, and I'm like, hey, another winner. So I'm just drinking like oceans of Sprite that summer.
We
And
fucked up so bad.
we
with
made
it.
so many
I made so many
mistakes.
mistakes. On my last day, this guy rolls up in a Porsche, and he's like, "Check the oil." And I was like, "All right." It was a full service gas station, and so
And the way he said it was the equivalent of like
Check
on
it.
your right.
on your
guy.
right, he's like, "Check it, Jew." I was like, "All right, fine." And so imagine like this giant black dildo is like where the dipstick, where the dipstick goes in. But there was a tinier slot where the dipstick goes in. But this is where you pour the oil. I didn't see the tinier slot where the dipstick goes in, so I pull it out, clean it off. I take a look at it, clean it off. I'm like, "You need about a quart." I drop it in.
Oh, and it just
Thinking
goes-
not, and I didn't put it in the small thing, and it just goes down. I basically lost his dipstick down in his oil thing. So this guy, classic, just asshole, driving on like a 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning and wants me to do all this shit for him, and I literally dropped his dipstick down his oil chute. Where I don't even know what it's called.
Oil
but
shoot is not the
that's
name
not
for
what it's
that.
called.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
that's
I
how
can
it
tell you
shows you
that.
how little I know. So then the district manager, this guy Darren, had to show up. This guy had a mustache like this, like
Thinner.
mustache like this, drove a maroon Ford Taurus station wagon, no family. That should like tell you that the guy's like a little off kilter. Like no family, you're driving a station wagon. He's got to come in and go into the back, grab like a coat hanger where the uniforms were on, unfurl it, and like dig down in this guy's thing and try and with the coat hanger pull it out. We were there for an hour and a half before he pulled it out. And
I'm
I was
surprised
like-
you said anything.
I was like, it's my last day.
Last day. But thankfully no one came and ate our
But we
face off.
saw people. You saw people come in, and you're like,
I'm going in the back.
Yeah.
If I see a crazy person, I'm disappearing.
yeah.
You're usually by yourself late at night.
You're by yourself.
We
you're
never
alone.
did it late at night.
I
We
would
did
never.
days. This feels like a
okay.
late at night thing.
No, this definitely had to have been a late
Right?
at night thing. I mean, it didn't say.
Where
in
in
the article.
Florida did this happen?
Massachusetts.
Oh, Jesus
Okay.
Yeah, they're stepping it up.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
So
not-
he
got
bit
some
the
big-
face off and then finger painted with the blood.
He bit a big chunk out from underneath his eye, like a
Wow.
huge old chunk.
Really?
Pools of blood everywhere.
I
And
remember
then
when
he, like-
blood was $2 a gallon. Could you
Yeah.
remember that?
Some better supply. Better supply.
Jeez.
The cops asked him what happened to the chunk of the guy's face, and he was like, "Oh, I think I ate it."
I think I ate it.
Really?
I don't know. You'd remember that. I'm
the
like,
guy, the guy was Chinese. He was hungry again 20
Yeah, I
minutes
love
later.
him.
that's the problem. That's the problem. He had one bite.
Uh-huh.
Why am I so hungry?
His occupation on Facebook, this is true, is listed as eviscerator at Human Slaughterhouse.
Oh, that's
Yes.
so nice.
Oh.
He changes his status to full.
What's next?
All right, this is fun. Every shrimp
Oh, I love this.
tested recently in the UK
Mm-hmm.
had traces of cocaine in it.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
they're
thought they were getting more confident as a country. They're like, fuck this EU
Yeah, we're
union.
leaving.
We're Brexiting out of this place.
Taking our ball and we're leaving.
And that's the Coke in the shrimp
Coke
that
in the
did
shrimp.
it.
Wow.
Hey, this might be, and I just think that opens up a chance for people to say, "Hey, this might be the Coke and the shrimp talking."
But
why
I
you
feel
can't-
great. But I am the smartest person in this room right now.
That's why you can't eat just one, because they have cocaine in it. Wow.
Individuals.
You would have to eat a lot of shrimp to feel the effects, so now we finally know what killed Ralphie May. Love you, Ralphie.
His tour of England.
Oh,
Snow shrimp.
I miss him.
yep. All right. Well, good luck to shout out to the shrimp in the UK. Sounds like they really know how to party. I thought shrimp was expensive before.
There was a lot of shrimp in the Wolf of Wall Street, wasn't there?
Oh yeah.
I think it was imported from England. Now that I know it.
Imported English shrimp.
Yeah.
We have another food story. This one's really touchy.
All right. Humans might have to be open to the idea of eating maggot sausage or insect ice cream in the future if we keep consuming protein at the rate we are now.
Wow.
Australian food scientist, with the world becoming
This is worse than the asteroid. I'm sorry.
yeah.
This gives me more.
The world becoming as overpopulated as conventional livestock production will soon be unable to meet global demands.
You got to go veg, man.
Soy versions.
Wow.
You guys veggies?
No, but I could. I like literally if
I
it
should.
if someone was like, you got to do it, you got to go soy. I'd be like, yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Are you veg?
Yeah, I would do it. I mean,
Yeah.
truthfully, I'm like, I always feel better when I do. But even that's going to be weird. Like, we got to come out with new ways. This is what we should be working on. Figuring out ways to come up with a giant soy dart to throw at the asteroid. The asteroid's really on my mind. I'm sorry. It's really
Remember
on my mind.
Asteroids, the game?
Yeah,
Love
of
that
course.
game.
Every roller
That was
skating
my
rink had it.
favorite.
It was the best because you would thrust towards the rock, and then if you hit hyperspace, you'd appear somewhere else in danger. Usually, it would never put you in a safe place when you came back. I love that game. I loved how few colors were in the game too. It was,
Oh,
like this bright white
like fluorescent white
triangle that just shot
Amazing.
stuff.
I was more of an arachnoid guy.
arachnoid.
Yeah, that was
Pretty
my,
good.
That was a great game.
I was a big centipede guy back in the day. Back in the- not human centipede. I'm
No,
sorry.
no, not human centipede. He wasn't
Delicious.
He wasn't into sewing a face into someone's asshole.
Ugh.
Come on.
Would you eat a maggot sausage, Jeff? If you knew you had to, and there was no more pork.
What if I told you
I
it
mean-
tasted like regular sausage? What if I told you it tasted like chicken maggots? Have you had escargot? Have you ever eaten escargot?
No.
I have.
Really?
It's pretty
I'm going
good.
to tell you where you should get it.
All right.
If
When
you
you're in New
want it.
York next, when are you in New York next?
Couple weeks.
Okay. Go to Blue Ribbon, the restaurant down on Sullivan Street. You know that spot?
Mm-hmm.
If Dan Fleming's there, he's our buddy. He used to be in the Burt Firschners, that
I remember
sketch
them.
group. He's a really funny, great guy, and he manages that place and does other
Escargot.
stuff. They make an escargot dish there, only at that Blue Ribbon. It's escargot and like these button mushrooms, and they put it in a port wine reduction, and there's like a bread thing on the bottom. It's so rich. The sauce is so rich. You can't tell if you're eating the mushroom or the snail. But the escargot is so good, and the sauce is so rich that it's just, and you can say I did it. And it's
So maybe they could do that with a maggot sausage.
maybe. That's all I'm saying. Maybe. It depends on your sauce situation. If you can sauce it up.
Yeah, well, snails are good. I mean, snails are like clams.
Yes,
you know,
they
they're
are.
like garden clams. You
Garden
don't gotta-
clams. Yeah.
You know, you don't have to really get too grossed out about them.
No.
Shrimp are bugs.
Snails are like
I
garden
guess that's
mussels.
Yeah, shrimp are bugs.
Yeah, so I mean, we're already eating them.
I've eaten
Better we eat
chapelinas,
bugs.
which-
Better we eat bugs than bugs eat us.
That's
Exactly.
right. I've had chapelinas.
My
which
youngest daughter
cricket.
is so afraid of bugs.
My nephews eat bugs. They think it's funny.
Yeah.
They eat like
They're not. Your nephews aren't known for their sense of humor.
They're funny.
All right, one more.
One more. We found a twin story for you
Let's
guys.
hear it.
All right. Inmate drugs his own twin to escape jail. Alexander Delgado Herrera was found a year after his escape. This happened in Peru. Alexander's identical twin brother came to visit him. He then drugged him, switched his clothes, stole his ID, and left jail. It wasn't until they fingerprinted him did they know that he actually did escape.
How great it would be if he went to all that trouble to do all that stuff, then all of a sudden lightning struck and they switched souls.
We've always wanted to do that soul switching movie where two identical twins switch souls.
Touched by an inmate.
Touch my mate.
Inappropriate. Can't be touched.
And two identical twins switch souls. Nobody knows, nobody cares.
But these guys treat it with the same urgency. Like phone rings and it's like, you get it.
He's gonna know I'm not you.
Especially with you guys, because you just go on. Now you're going to tell each other's jokes.
That's
right.
Punchlines.
Do the setups.
Just all setups. I don't know your punchlines. Well, it's
know
going to be
what-
all set up. Come on. That sounds like a movie. I'm just saying. Not saying.
All right.
He
That was
said he
fun.
escaped to see his mother. So
Well, it's their mother. It's both of their mother.
And don't just say my mother. It's his mother too.
You know, so there's a crazy story about us when we were young, and our mom hates when we tell this story because it does kind of make her seem like she wasn't on top of it. But
She was. On top
I don't
of
blame her.
it. I can't.
We were 6 weeks or 6 months. I think 6 weeks old. Our mom took us to the doctor.
She confused you.
She didn't, but the doctor, the only way she could tell us apart that day, because she never dressed us alike, but it was the first day we had been out. She had the nicest outfits that we had, which were matching. Took us to the doctor. They did the checkup. Then they took us in the other room to weigh us while she was.
The only way she could tell was the color of diaper pin that was on each of us. She made sure this is from this.
So
one.
the nurse handed us back to my mom after she weighed us, and my mom was talking to
Wow.
the doctor and said, I put Pampers on them
Here are your diaper pins.
in a bag. And my mom was like, what the fuck did you
Who-
just do?
who had which
who
one?
had which pin?
One
She's
was
like,
like
I don't know. Our mom brought us home, set us on the couch, and was like crying. Was like, what have I done? And
Wow.
stared at the two of us and
This
said,
has got to be a 6 weeks thing.
Yeah,
weeks.
6 weeks.
So then she was like, all right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put who I think is Randy in Randy's crib. I'm going to put who I think is Jason in Jason's crib. And if our dad comes home and is like, what's Randy doing in Jason's crib? Then I'll know that I'm sorry.
if
I
he
just
says
got-
nothing,
Then
which-
I'll. Which, by the way, that's putting it on. Our dad maybe
but
didn't
if he
know.
doesn't know, yeah.
maybe he didn't care. Maybe he just assumed everything was good.
I mean, you're
So-
6 months. Who gives a shit?
Well, he walked in, he didn't say anything, and that was it. So we
Wow, this is-
just
So,
found.
so we were like, okay, well, how can we find out if we are really who we are? Not that it matters, but it would be interesting to find out.
They don't do a
Instead, if
fingerprint.
you
They do a
footprint and a palm print.
So those two prints, like if you were to take what it is, you have a special markings and lines. I do that he doesn't, and vice versa. And if we were to match those up with what was taken,
Right.
So we call the hospital. This is maybe like, I don't know, like 6 or 7 years ago, and they said we were 40, and they said.
All those records
are gone. After 30 years, we destroy all the records, and we thought, oh man, we missed our opportunity to even
Wow.
check it out. It
Yeah.
would have been great.
Not that it makes any difference, but would be fascinating for me to find out that I'm actually Randy and he's actually me, if that were true. And so we were just home.
And I was looking through like this bedside table of
Oh,
mine, and I
wow.
found an old folder, and I pulled it out, and there are the footprints.
Oh,
So we
Oh.
have them.
So we have them. We could do it.
what would you be able to tell? Like
Maybe.
yourself?
I don't know. I
don't think we'd be able to tell ourselves. I think we'd have to have
No,
some
we would have to have
professional-
Someone analyze it. But
Yeah, a professional person.
We
it's
could
a
find
cool
it.
tension that in the end, really in a way doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, but it is fascinating to just imagine your whole life you are not who you thought you were. There is a tiny psychological twist. So we were talking to the people over at This American Life, and we were like, we have this thing, and we would do it with you guys and do it on the air and find out in real
Literally
time.
not know and just go through it with
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
And have our mom and their
Their response was new phone, who dis?
uh,
Like we were talking to you right now.
this is Ira Glass. No, they haven't said anything whether or not they want to do it. They were interested a while ago, but it's
Wouldn't you feel bad about some of those jokes you told at roast battle?
Yeah.
I mean,
They were
yeah,
really about
because-
yourself?
Yeah, who am I really roasting?
Who's he really roasting?
I'm roasting myself.
Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting
yourself?
But your life would be no different.
none?
Not one even kind of bit.
Well, we'd have to swap families, which would be weird at the
That would be
beginning, but then I
strange.
think it would just be fine.
You settle in after a while.
I like his house. Yeah, but it is like it is a fascinating moment that happened in our lives. That we
Here's a
could-
cration question as
Yeah.
twins.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever borrowed each other's clothes?
Sure.
I didn't realize it was going to get that personal, Jeff. Some things we will not answer.
Jeff, look, Jeff. I didn't know we were gonna come here and get ambushed, Jeff.
It took 30 minutes, and he got us comfortable, and then he dug
just
in,
went in for
and
the
he asked
kill.
the kind of question that makes us very uncomfortable.
Went in for the kill. It's just like that moment on like when Dice was on like CNN Financial. Did you ever see that footage of him?
And the guy's like,
I
I understand
You're on a comedy now, and I
you're running
understand
a
you're
gym."
owning a bunch of gyms. And Dice on a live show was like, "What the fuck is this shit? You fucking do your fucking research."
No, I don't own
Not
a fucking gym.
The guy's like, "Whoa, hey!"
Like producers, like, you can't do that. You cannot do that.
It is. It's one of my favorites.
It's so
Great.
funny.
So funny.
Great moment.
It is so funny
We
because
treat it like that.
the guy had like no
No.
respect.
No, and then no clue.
You
And
care
then-
if I smoke this?
No, dude, blow it out. Blow it up.
Enjoy.
oh man.
Because it's hard to do this way.
Right?
Did
So
you guys
how did
did you guys party together when you were young?
Sure.
Did you have years where you didn't hang out?
No, we did. Oh, years when we didn't hang out? No, we hang out. It's interesting now because
Our kids are different ages, and we have different friends that we've developed through
you
our
live in
families.
it was kind of reminiscent of we went to college together. We did decide to go. It wasn't like we decided to go together. We applied to the same schools. That's the only thing we did.
In Chicago?
No, went to University of Michigan, but we applied to Penn, Michigan, and Wisconsin. We said wherever we get in, it might dictate where we go. So you might get in here, and I'll get in here, and if that's what we want to do, that's what we'll do.
We got into
We got in all three, and we said, you know what? Let's make the decision of where we go independent of each other. So we said, we both were like, I want to go to Michigan. Good sports. It's Midwest, a lot of dynamic
But those
people.
are tough to
Tough.
even initiate those conversations,
Those
right?
It was tough, but we did say, we said, I'm not going to require you to do what I do. That's basically what we told each other. We gave each other permission to go wherever we wanted
Were
to
you
go.
ever scared that your brother would say like,
I wanna
you know
go
what,
here."
I kind of want to go on my own. I
It
wanna
would have
try
been
something."
interesting.
I thought about it, and I was like, if he does, then that'll be what it is. Then he'll make that choice, and we'll live in that
But
reality.
we did individually both choose to go to Michigan. But when we got there, It's a humongous school. 40,000 people there.
University of Michigan.
Yeah, there's
in Ann
40,000
Arbor.
students there. So I would go to my classes, and there'd be a whole side of the university that just knew me, and then a whole group of people that just knew him. And like people would walk towards me like with someone who I'd never met before,
With
Yeah.
excited purpose.
with a very excited like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And I'd be like, "Hello,
Hey.
how are you?" Knowing that this is someone who probably knows him. This is kind of what's happening now as we get older. Is like I have this whole community of friends where I live in Silver Lake, and Jay lives kind of up here near
Yeah.
you. And it's like he's got his people over here. I got my people over there. I interact with them on. To me, that's healthy. It's
Yeah.
very healthy to be like. It's not just, it's not us all the time. I love how people at this point think that we live together. They're like, "Do you guys live together?" We're like, "We just talked about our families. We're not the fucking Keebler elves, like living in a tree for Christ's sake."
I know.
Like we live separately, and so I think that's healthy because it allows us to then, when we work or we travel, we go all that stuff. When we have to get on a plane and sit next to Shetland Suge Knight, it's like we know that it's actually nice to be together.
And this will be part of our advice to you and Dave. And I think it will. You're already doing it, whether you know it or not, and we'll talk about it when that section comes up.
When Dave and I appreciate any advice because
Yeah.
I remember Buddy Hackett, and I've said this before, like him telling me why he didn't want to join the Three Stooges when they needed a fill-in.
Wow.
He said, "I don't want to wake up every morning wondering how the other two guys are feeling."
About it, yeah.
So you have to worry. Go like, is Randy feeling okay? Is Jason like a little overwhelmed with his kid right now? Like,
Yeah.
that's
hard
Your
sometimes.
problems become his problems.
That's right.
Your mood becomes his mood.
That's right. Yes.
So
And
I
that
try
is
I try to be the positive force in my team with David Tell.
And we always say the best part about being a comedy team is that we get to share the money.
It's so nice.
Wonderful.
No, the good news is that you do have someone to
great.
pick up the slack. I mean, if that does happen,
Do you think you work harder because you have a partner or easier? I think the easy people would assume you work easier because you have help, but I think in a lot of ways it means you can't take a day off when you want. You have to. It's a different discipline.
it's
is
a
what I'm
different
learning.
discipline, but
And I only do 10 dates or something.
the truth of the matter is there
Sans
are moments
Bethlehem,
where I'm,
May 25th.
oh, is when it,
I did not know that you were
we
the first we're hearing about.
I
it.
mean,
I'm
if
shocked.
I wish someone would lay some dates on us for Christ's sake, because I haven't heard any yet.
The Sand's actually on the 24th.
Sands on the 24th. Okay, just want to make sure that.
That's good because we're in Bloomington this next
Sorry, we're out of
weekend.
time.
Oh,
Okay. Jesus Christ! No plugs. Hang on a
Comedy
second.
Attic on the 9th, 10th, 11th, but it means that we would be able to make it
Yeah.
to your shows, but then we wouldn't again on the 30th,
I
31st.
didn't realize this podcast would be like Jeff's hair. No plugs. Though the good news is that we do. You can pick up slack. Like I went out of town with my whole family, and I said, "I'm not doing any work. Like you got to take this."
And I did.
and he did, and vice versa. It happens all the time where I'm like, "I'll take care of this."
His kids are older. My kids have to be more involved. I don't have help after school. We used to have a nanny. We don't now. So I have to do everything as much as possible, usually after school. So there's like whole periods where, he can just do it and I can't. And so he can either be like petty about it and be like,
"This is it. This is it." I would give the same advice to anyone who is in a relationship or married. Don't keep score. That's the worst thing you can do.
Absolutely,
It's the
man.
beginning
The
of the
worst
end.
thing
you can do is like, well, I did this and I did this, so you need to do this. And no,
it's the
Right.
beginning of the end.
just fucking do it. Just do it.
They say that's transactional, a relationship.
Yeah, it's like don't keep score. There is no score. If you're in this thing and you want it to succeed, and you both really truly want it to succeed, just here it is. I'll do this, and I'll take
Can you
care of it.
imagine if, like, I mean, someone told a story about Tony Danza. I don't know if you know Tony Danza, but someone told a story about how on Who's the Boss he would.
The Elton John song?
No, he would count. Yeah, hold me close.
Johnny
Tony
Lambert's
Danza.
bit.
Hold me closer,
so
Tony Danza.
This was he would read through Who's the Boss scripts and count how many lines there were in between his lines. He's like, you got to make those shit. Can't be that many. I got to be talking all the time. It'd be like if Scottie Pippen turned to Michael Jordan and was like, I'm not getting enough shots.
Right.
It's like, how many rings you got? shut the fuck up.
Right.
You got your shots. I'm taking the shot. Do you want to win as a team, or do you want to win by yourself or be by yourself? That's the question. You know.
I told somebody that a buddy was asking me about a show he was thinking of doing. I was like, you don't want to be the funny guy on an unfunny show.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't get you anywhere really.
No.
You gotta be on with funny people on a funny show.
That's the truth.
Agreed.
Seinfeld got that. Seinfeld got that and was like, I got to put these really funny people around.
Jon Stewart got that on The Daily Show. You think about all the people he surrounded himself with and was like, I'm willing to be the straight man so you guys can be funny in every segment we do together.
That's sometimes the most enjoyable thing we do on our podcast is when people come on as characters, directing that interview as they're like improvising wildly into these places, because it's almost like the greatest improv game you can do is to make it very real. And you play the straight man and allow them to just tee it up for them to like.
Hello.
Oh, really? Look who just came in from England.
Hello.
All the way from England.
Yeah.
We just had one complaint about the shrimp.
No charge for the shrimp.
Okay,
charge for the
not
shrimp.
enough cocaine. Thank you.
Not enough cocaine.
Shrimp was too shrimpy.
Too shrimpy. Not enough cocaine in it. Are you cool?
More cocaine for the shrimp.
All right.
Thank you, Judge Dildo, for being here.
By the way, did you see Judge Judy changed her hair? She changed her hairstyle.
Good
and
for
like
her.
it freaked out. Like the internet almost broke because she changed her. First of all, she's trying to look more and more like Ruth Bader Ginsburg, which
We're like, you're not.
slow your roll, Judge Judy. You're not. So you got to look at it. And second of all, like really, it's a younger girl's cut. She definitely went to like she has like a ponytail.
Oh, what?
Yeah, right? RBG.
Order in the
All
court.
right,
Oh,
good. Judge
Judge Dildo is trying to run this court in a way that can we please all respect what Judge Dildo has to say? What next cases do we have on the docket, Judge Dildo?
All right, it's that jacket versus my eyes.
We all know who's gonna lose.
There she is. She's
Look
looking
at her.
good.
She looks great.
Trying to look like Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Didn't she look younger?
Oh yeah.
She does look younger.
She looks a lot younger.
I had a death hoax thing with
You
Judge
thought
Judy.
she was gonna die?
I got an email.
She basically
Saying
has
that-
your haircut now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
it's
looks
actually.
good.
Order! I call order.
Affirmative.
By the way, how much more fun would court be if insteed of gavels,
They were
every judge had a
banging
giant black dildos?
I'm not listening to that guy.
No,
he
but
doesn't
then-
have a dildo.
He
Now.
does that.
Now. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Ross.
All
Your
rise.
Honor.
All rise. Thank you.
12 Angry Inches. That's what the new movie is.
You're out of order. The bathroom's out of order.
Jeff says usually one of my favorite things to do is to judge the roast battle here at the Belly Room.
Speaking
It
of
is-
judging.
it is like my favorite thing in the world to do.
You guys are heavy hitters over at Roast Battle.
I love it so much. It is. Jeff usually says, many funny things, but there's usually like one or two things that I'll be driving back home later that night
laughing about
and
it.
just start cackling. I'm like, how did he come up with that? How did he get that in that exact moment? It was just so goddamn
There is a
good.
moment where like the C's part and the joke kind of comes down in front of your face, and you just like we were doing a battle the other night between those two guys,
Guys who worked at the store. That was probably it was the best battle.
Dylan and the other guy.
it was a battle on a
Right.
night
Dylan
where
and
there
Zach.
weren't a lot of great battles.
Right. Tuesday nights at the Comedy Store, we do Roast Battle.
Yeah.
and Dylan is a large, round gay man,
Right.
and I'm-
Great joke writer, by the way.
And he had a lot of great jokes, and I'm looking at him, and I'm like, there is a joke that's coming to me right now. It's like coming into focus. And I just was like, Dylan, you're so big and fat and gay, you came out of a walk-in closet.
It was just a perfect joke.
And it was
Order.
Good one. Good
And
one.
it worked. And I was like, that felt like a Jeff Ross joke. Like economical, you hit it right on the head, you got in, got out.
Thank you.
It was good.
I remember
You
we
killed
were
it.
at the Sit and Spin. Do you remember Sit and Spin, which was Jill Soloway,
Yeah.
fantastic writer who creator of and executive producer of Transparent. I mean, just
wrote
a
on 6
brilliant
Feet Under.
show. She was so
Right.
amazing. She did this reading series where a writer series where you write a piece and then you read it out loud in front of people. And Jeff and I were on the same show, and there was
And no one ever said any. They just came up, read their piece, and left.
and there was this like indie band, like a very kind of quiet indie indie band playing. It was at the Comedy Central Workspace over on Hudson. Remember those theaters by the complex over there? And Jeff comes up, and before he goes to read your piece, which was great, I remember, you just look back at this like very kind of quiet indie rock man. He's like, nice to see you. There's the house band Sit and Sleep.
Sit and sleep.
I still laugh at that to this day.
I
Sit
like
and Sleep.
that.
You were like doing bits before you
Doing
got
bits.
to the thing.
Good
Magic.
stuff.
I always have to warm up my own crowd before those storyteller shows.
But it was great.
So
'cause it was-
another great Jeff story was when
Oh, I love this.
when
Thank
we
you
wrote
for these Jeff
when we
stories.
wrote for it's one of the only times we wrote for someone else. We wrote for Kathy Griffin when she did her like VH1 Divas show.
Right.
I remember it was like us and who was the guy? David Wild, great
David
writer.
Wilder wrote for Rolling Stone.
Oh my
forever.
God, what a great
Unbelievable
writer! But
music.
he was not like a joke writer. He was like, but he'd written for all these shows all the time. And Kathy brought us in because she's like, you guys, you got to help me. Like, and Kathy Griffin, always like one of the fastest, funniest people we've ever met. She's just a joke machine and can deliver it and nail it. She's just, again, we don't like to write for people, although the roast battle has allowed us to write like a ton of jokes for people. Like we'll pitch jokes to people all the time that aren't us, and it's like my favorite thing to watch someone
So
then
much
go do
fun.
that. And then we just started doing a show that, oh my God, I love this show so much. It's a Divergent thing, but called Tag It. We've done it now twice. We just did it at Moon Tower.
Careful with
Tag
that.
it.
Where
Hey,
hey,
it's a T. It's a hard T.
Tag It's a hard T. That's true. So basically, comedians come up and do like 6 minutes, and then we come and we're feverishly writing off stage, and we come up and pitch them tags right afterwards for their
On
jokes.
stage,
It's
and
what
then-
goes on in Jeff. It's what goes on in green rooms everywhere.
Right.
They come
Yeah.
on stage like, "Hey man, have you ever thought of doing this?" Or "I
Yeah.
thought you were going to go here and here." It's so much fun to
It's
do.
unbelievable.
So we love
It's
doing
like
that.
a mitzvah.
It
No,
is.
it is a mitzvah.
And people have used them. So anyway, we
Stick to the story.
so we were
Stick to the Jeff
writing for
Kathy.
Kathy Griffin. It was like Katy Perry and Nicki
Right.
Minaj.
It was
and, like,
amazing.
It was an
The
amazing
cast of Jersey Shore.
cast in front of 20,000
Snooki
troops.
sat on my lap, I remember.
Snooki, yeah.
And here's the crazy thing: that wasn't Snooki. No, just a giant orange pillow. So
we have a situation.
remember when Snooki was the only orange thing we feared? So Jeff came down. We didn't even almost know that, but we're like writing for Kathy, and we helped write her monologue, and I mean it was awesome, and she delivered it and was really incredible, and they loved it. And Jeff came down, and like we were so nervous about we wrote a sketch and this other thing for Katie and her to do. Jeff came out and did his set. You wore a white suit. Do you remember that white suit? You fucking
killed
stood
it.
out there in front of 20,000 people, and we were backstage.
Wow.
And we were like, this guy's a fucking killer. It was so much fun. It was so much fun to watch you do it. We were like pacing around, watching it on the monitor in the back,
Yeah.
and we're like, he's kill. But you would tell the joke, we'd see it on there, and then we'd just hear the roar from the crowd.
And he would like
love
go
that.
back and then come back at
20
you.
It was like,
1,000
yeah, it was
people.
like a sea of servicemen and
Right,
women.
and they
yeah.
loved it, man. They loved it. They loved you. You knew exactly what levers to pull on that thing. It was masterful.
Cool to watch.
It's great to be a part of that.
San Diego, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like just
Down-
north of San Diego. Camp Pendleton. Remember that?
Pendleton.
Yeah, that was
So
cool.
fun.
It was cool to watch.
So fun.
That's like 10 years ago.
No,
now,
it's a long time ago.
Maybe more.
I remember wearing these like fancy loafers that were like camouflage.
Yeah,
I like I
And
was
a
really
white
like
suit.
and
I
a
really
white
took it
suit,
up a
dude.
notch. I don't remember the white suit, but I'll
I
have
thought
to
you had
look-
like a white jacket or
yeah, something
Maybe
like
it was
that.
it
I'll have
was,
to look that up.
It was
it was
cool.
beautiful.
Camouflage loafers, though. You got to get those back.
He didn't
in
want his feet
rotation.
to be seen.
Yeah, those were in the closet somewhere.
Those were
but
government issue. Camouflage.
They're in the closet with Dylan.
special roasting shoes. Do you guys have to talk about what you're going to wear before shows?
There are moments where we will show up at a show and we're wearing similar
Because we don't own the same clothes.
flannels. or something, and I'll be like, you got to wear your coat on stage, or you have to die, or you have to go home. You got to get out of here.
Why would the effect be bad if you were dressed alike?
We hate
It's
it.
not our thing. It's
Because
just
I think we can't. So we came
But if
up,
it's random, then anything's your
then we
thing.
make a joke about
I'm
it.
saying you guys are so real. Like at a certain point, it becomes the funny thing you make fun of that night, right?
we would do that. That's what
I mean, we believe so firmly. It's almost like being like twin atheists, like not believing in the twin mystique. But there was one time, only time in our lives, when we were both driving to the airport to fly out of town for a gig early from our houses. And what
So now you're dealing with like morning traffic. It's stress. You know, it's like
Yeah.
the,
well,
all
it's
the
like
stress.
6.
of the
It was
travel.
might have been
Travel
earlier than
again,
that. It's
travel.
like 6 in the morning. Yeah. But like when we have to leave super early, we'll call each other from the car on the way to the airport just to make sure the other person
Are
woke
you
up.
going? Are you on
Did
your
you
way?
wake up? Are you in the car? All that stuff.
Yeah.
So I see Randy's calling my phone, but even though I just peed at my house 10 minutes early, I have to pee more than I've ever had to pee in my life. I'm afraid I'm going to pee in my pants. I pull over to 7-Eleven. I go to the 7-Eleven. I'm like, can I use your bathroom? The guy's like, you don't know that customers can't use the bathroom at 7-Eleven? I'm like, I'm sorry.
No.
I don't know, but I'm going to, I don't
I'm
do
gonna most
pee
of
in
my shopping at
I'm
7-Eleven.
gonna pee in one of your cups. I don't know. I'm gonna pee all over your face. I was freaking out. I didn't know what to do, so I ran around behind the 7-Eleven on Olympic and La Cienega. I ran behind it. There's 2 apartment buildings. I kneeled down on my knees and just pee like in broad daylight as people are walking their dogs. I just start
kneel down.
because if I stood up, it would make a larger splash. I made it look like I was looking for something, and I just peed into
He was
this.
looking for his contact in a
I was
giant
looking
pool
for
of
my
piss.
dignity, and I peed
He had to see
into,
his reflection immediately.
and I peed into like their flowers, and I zip it up, and I run back to my car, and I call Randy, and I'm like, and he's not answering, and I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. I saw you calling. I hope you're on your way to the airport, but I had to pee so badly. I went to the. He calls me back 3 minutes later, and he says to me, which is insane.
I was like, I had to fucking pee so badly. I pulled off and I went in between 2 like duplexes and just got off the road and just peed because I was like, if I don't, I'm going to pee in my car. And I was like, I can't. That was
A weird.
that was a moment where I was like, this
Wow.
is beyond.
If you believe in that stuff, then that's the moment. that
But
you
those
believe.
types of things
Wow.
don't happen all the time. It only happened once.
It's like when periods sync up.
You know
It
what I
is
mean?
like when periods
That's like the closest thing we can have to
and
our
our periods have never synced up, which is weird.
Do you think life's easier? You know, this podcast is about getting through life when times are hard, having
Yes.
thick skin. Do you think having a brother, like I have a sister, and sometimes, sometimes I'm like, well, thank God. I mean,
Yeah, oh my God, yeah.
like at show business, if you apply that to like how hard show business is.
Showbiz is the hardest thing
I
ever.
always say it's never been a better time to be a white guy in this business.
I mean,
And
look
we-
it up.
And so much so that we double down. We're the same white guy
We're
twice.
doubling down on that.
Wow.
No, but we do commiserate with each other, and yeah, there is.
Although you got to be careful because you can then start to
sometimes we can spiral each other
rile
in a
each other
bad
up.
way.
Somebody's got to be the backstop. Someone's got to be outside of it to be like, all right, everybody just relax. You guys are doing great. You know,
Or just calm down and keep making stuff that you like, and something will come around when it gets hard. Because it gets hard.
it's
You
hard
know,
for
man.
everybody. It's hard for everybody.
It's this.
You
is
got to
not-
enjoy the process.
You have to enjoy the process. You have to be. You
The
know,
fact that you have each other, I'm jealous of. I mean, to be, Ed and I have a great thing, but it's like on stage, like for life, like somebody who knows you.
It's great.
You
It's
guys
great.
Really,
There's
you really
wish
got it
fulfillment.
made.
There's wish fulfillment. There's a tiny bit of wish fulfillment when people see us, because I think and this is why we made a conscious effort not to be like old comedy teams like the Smothers Brothers, where one guy's mad at the other guy because he's off the rails, and like Martin and Lewis, I gotta reel this guy back in. He's crazy, and there's like
Which,
fighting
by the way,
each-
worked and was done. Why would we ever want to do something that someone already did beautifully?
Yeah, why would you want to be rich and famous?
Why would we want to be successful when we could be
actually
middling?
Order.
Where's the dildo? But we say, part of the thing that's cool about what we have is a unique relationship that we can show you on stage and be like, look at how much fun we're having with each other and building this
People
thing.
say
So that's what modern stand-up is, taking your real organic, funniest, truest self, and like hiding it,
Heightening
heightening it.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, that's all you're really doing.
People
You're
ask
just.
us who are your influences. It's
I don't think you're comedians because you're twins.
No.
I think you're comedians.
Well,
And then you happen to be
twins, which makes it even more
brothers, which make By the way, both Ed's parents are twins.
Really?
Yeah. Both with
so they're brother and sister, and they married each other.
Yeah. It's
amazing.
it's so cool.
no,
That's
but
why I'm
they're-
so smart.
They're both. Are they both identical?
No,
That's why I can't.
Neither.
I don't spell with consonants. Both of your parents are identical twins.
No,
Or-
they both have like a twin of the opposite sex.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah,
It's
cool.
Yeah, my mom's got a twin brother. My dad's got a twin sister.
That's incredible.
It's really weird.
It's a unique relationship, only
he was
because.
he was the biggest baby ever born in the state of Florida.
Really?
Yeah, it was a big old baby. Wow. 14 pounds, 13 and a half ounces.
That's amazing.
So that's the power if you guys.
Which
Surprised
is
they
how
didn't-
big my friend Hiromi's baby is. 7 months old. By the way,
14 pounds.
We were
Yeah.
five. And
No,
six.
collectively. Yeah, we were
We're
11,
11.
4.
this is what his dick looked like.
Order.
Order.
It's
well,
bigger
that's
than both you
some
put
sushi.
together.
Well, that's the biggest compliment I will take away from this, because to have Jeff, who's someone we love and respect, be like, you guys are funny and you also happen to be twins.
That was because our goal wasn't to be like, hey, those twins, those comedy twins. That's not our goal. Our goal was to be, hey, these guys are just. These
No,
guys,
I already learned. I learned that by being in a comedy, not just just watching you guys, but by being in a doubling up with a tell the way I am. I
Yeah.
can see like neither of us need each other, but when we go together, it's like it triples.
yeah, it's kind of
It's
an
special.
amazing
So
thing.
that's like if you were performing, it's like it would be so. It would be almost like a tragedy.
Yeah,
And like for comedy, like heightening,
yeah,
it would be like having the competing movie across the street all the time.
yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I guess it's okay. It's still a great life, but the fact that you get to do it together is like,
It's cool.
Crazy cool.
We should appreciate that more.
you should.
Yeah.
Plus, y'all are machines. You always got new material every time I see you perform.
Always trying to I always feel that way. We've compelled to do that. Like
Yeah.
especially if we go back to a town where we've been like the year before. I'm always
Even
like,
up at the store, we're like,
even up at the
let's
store,
try
I'm always
something.
like, can we try something new? Can we get out there? Because the store
It's
has.
hard. It's really hard.
It's hard because the store has really become a place where you can't mess around that much while
yeah,
you're
if
there.
you're gonna follow Jeff or follow Sebastian or follow Bobby Lee or
Brennan
Neil
or
Joe
Brennan,
Rogan.
Joe Rogan, it's like,
Whoever, the best around.
you literally, you can't just walk on stage and do half stuff. You can't do the things that are kind of floating around.
So
in your
when
head.
you do get something that's new and you put it in that act and it goes up there and it does well, you're always like, okay, that's great. The store really just lays everything out. The store is like the NBA playoffs. All your weaknesses will be exposed,
Yeah.
while you're up there.
I know.
It shows them, so like it just shows you how you got to get
Yeah,
better.
oh man, you follow someone who just wrecks a room, and you come up and you're like, ooh, our setups are pretty long. I'm realizing that right now as I'm saying this. We haven't gotten to the joke yet. It's been 45 seconds. Can we get there faster next time? Like it just
Don't
shows
get bad habits, but use that as a barometer of like
course.
finding a way to find stuff.
Oh yeah, all the time.
yeah.
'Cause
Yes.
you might be following somebody. You might be following somebody who's about to shoot a special.
Yeah, of
and
course.
you just shot one.
Right. I
so
mean,
like
absolutely.
Yes. You know what I mean?
You're walking
so
out
you're
on
trying new
you're
shit,
trying new stuff.
and they're like got their producer in the back going, change this pun.
I know.
Like
yeah.
it's already like done. So
and
that's the thing.
And by the way, it's
15
all
minutes.
headliners up there.
And there's no host.
There's
no
nobody to take the bullet.
palate
so like,
cleanser.
Right.
So literally, headliner after headliner after headliner. People, guys and women who should not be they should not be followed. They're the last ones on
Right.
any show.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're coming up after them. So as long as you remind yourself of that to me is like the real challenge of that place. But
The only time it's hard is when somebody goes long. I can follow anyone for 15 minutes.
that's
Yeah.
right.
But if you're going to go up there for 25, 30 minutes and do your
Yeah, you got to just you've
and
got to
then go,
just
all right, you
clear
know.
the space. You got to just clear the space and say, okay, now this is what we're going to do. And I do think audiences up there have become more savvy in terms of saying like they know, okay, what I just watched is there and that's a complete thing and that's done. Now I'm going to watch this. You know what I mean? There is a little bit that you can benefit from the short attention span of an audience.
Oh, speaking of that, I do want to say this. I
Yeah.
want to put this on the record. Another Jeff Ross compliment.
Oh, guys, come on.
Your
Please.
tribute to Brody Stevens at the Brody Stevens event that we also participated in was so good and so funny and so distinctly you and done with so much love.
dangerous. It was wonderful.
And done with so much love.
We get it.
I get it. I loved it. I mean, you came in hot. You were hilarious.
Thank
and then you
you.
started by explaining how, if for those who didn't know who didn't watch it, how annoying and how hard it was to deal with Brody at the beginning of your relationship.
And we're like, he definitely needs to know where he's going with this.
Yes. And then you were like, it became a thing where you were looking for him. And then it became a thing where you're like, I want to see him. And then it became a thing where like, I need this guy.
I relied on him.
I
Right.
need him.
Your
And
story of how the arc of your
Yeah.
relationship
Yeah.
was so
it was like a romantic comedy. It was almost
Yeah.
like you like can't stand him, and then by the end you love him.
Yeah.
And he's your and you
and
need
you
him.
roasted him.
It
And
took
when,
over a decade, probably.
Yeah.
But
when
But
you
but
when you were
that's-
done roasting him, I said, I'll have what he's having.
But
Thank
it was
you.
like that. It was it was a beautiful
Beautiful
7
story.
minute like thing.
I really appreciate it.
It's very honor. It honored him beautifully, I think.
I'm selling copies of those at my shows at the. And I'm just
What
kidding.
shows?
Stop.
I didn't hear of any dates
I
coming up.
I don't know if you're doing dates.
Are
Jeff.
dates coming up,
It's
Jeff?
not
Where
clear.
would you be? Where could people find you?
Hello?
Hello. Order.
This is so much fun. Where are you guys gonna be? What's going on?
So depending on when this drops, we're in Bloomington, Indiana at the Comedy Attic, which we love, on May 9th through the 11th.
Bloomington, Indiana. I've never been there.
Great
Oh, man,
club,
great
small, awesome, great comedy fans. It's a really
Yeah,
cool.
it's small town, but like great comedy
University
fans.
of Indiana, IU.
IU is there. So we're there May 9th through 11th. Then we're in Salt
Who
Lake.
opens for you guys?
They'll
They
have
have
local.
they have a great local scene there. We always love the local people they pair us up with there. So we're always
Do
like,
you guys
we're in
pick
good
up the
hands.
check yourselves, or do you have it mailed to your agent?
To our check? Oh,
Yeah.
we get it ourselves. I put it in the
You
bank
do?
like right there.
I always have it mailed to my
Mobile
agent.
checking, man. I got to put it in right away.
Put it in.
I put it in because I'm just like, I'll lose this somehow.
Then we're at Wise Guys at the end of the month in
Salt Lake City, the 30th and June 1st, and then
You
You
have
absolutely
to.
should
You
go.
would kill it there. They
Oh my
love
God.
comedy.
That's a
love
famous club, Wise Guys.
Wise Guys is
I
great.
love
Keith
those
Stubbs, who runs that club, is a great
He's
dude.
the
He's
best
a comic.
dude. He's the best guy, and I love the room, and I love the people who come out, and it's just a great. And we got a good friend who lives in Park City, so we get to see him. It's great. I
Then
love
we
it.
do Cobb's at the end of June in San Francisco. Is a great club, and we do
How many nights at Cobb's?
Two
Two
nights
nights,
at Cobb's.
Friday
Where do
and
you guys
Saturday
stay?
night.
What neighborhood? In San Francisco?
Right around there. Right around there. I mean, I love San Francisco so much, but we stay right by the club.
I'm doing Cluster Fest. Have you ever done that?
You're going to be there a week before us. So I'm nervous. I'm like, is everyone going to just go see all the comedy they want to see for like months and months the week before,
But
and then
people
not
are coming
come see
from
us?
out of town for Clusterfest.
That's
People
true.
are coming from all over the country. It's a big
Hopefully we-
event.
Yeah, it's.
I
No one's
mean,
thinking about next week. If
We
they
love
want
it.
to.
We
I
love it. So we're
love-
the week after. We're the week
So
after.
we
the
week after
Clusterfest.
there, and then we go to like San Diego.
You might
at the
whet
end of
people's
June.
appetite going. I fucking miss Cluster. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
Because that's kind of what something happened when a festival hits a city. It creates a vibe that lasts. You know.
I'm hoping that there'll be like a presence of like the clubs in San Francisco at Clusterfest, and they'll be like, "Hey, here's who's going to be here next week and the following weeks," and they'll kind of put it out there. To
And
comedy
they'll
fans.
reach out to the comedy fans.
We're doing a theater in Livermore, up in outside of Oakland. We're doing that in
You
July.
guys kill it.
We're
You
doing
guys
all
kill
that.
it.
We're all over.
If you go to our website has it all.
Yeah.
Supersklars.com.
And we just started putting a lot of stand-up clips on our Instagram, which I'm really excited. We're
Oh,
just
really?
starting to put more and
starting
more
to put
clips.
more and more stuff because we really feel like, you know, from our old specials, we had a special on Netflix. We had
Two Comedy Central.
Comedy Central half hours plus this hour on Stars. We're like, I'd love to cut this up. Plus, we have all this old content of like old cheap seat shows, and you know, we just want to put it
Jeff
out.
was on our show. You were on our show. We put you in. You were great on Apartment 2F, our first TV show in New York. You
So
played
great.
a
Oh no,
professor.
Aaron Lee was talking about that
Played a
tonight.
professor trying to get people to
That was fun.
trying to get you ran a support group for men with women's hips.
Remember
Brilliant.
that? You ran a support group for men with women's hips.
That it was okay to have women's hips.
Can I get a copy of that?
We gotta
We
find
can find it.
Yes, I'll
That
find.
you were trying to
were
help
s-
man. You were trying to help men break the so-called ass
ceiling.
ceiling.
Wow. Thank you for that gig, guys.
Hey, you were great.
Always.
That was the easiest $100,000 I ever made.
I can't believe we paid you so much. That was our whole budget.
Our whole budget for
We
the
kind of
first
fucked
season.
up on that.
I think I was there about 3 hours.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
You were
so
amazing.
funny.
I wanna
and was
see
so
it.
good.
You were so fun to
great.
hang out with and work.
I remember it being a very original, like,
Oh, that show
unique
was the
show.
best.
Zach
Oh my
was
God.
on the show.
Galifianakis, Showalter was on the show. David Wayne did stuff on the show.
Bill
Colbert-
Burr's first stand-up.
Colbert,
Really?
Patrice,
Wow.
Patrice,
Patton.
Patton on the show. Arch Barker on the show.
So cool.
It was a really
Apartment 2F.
Apartment 2F.
John DiMaggio was here recently, and
Oh, yeah.
we were talking about Red Johnny and the Round Guy
Those guys
They were great. They
on
were
MTV
fun.
in those days.
Yeah, it's old days in that.
A lot of really funny comedy back in MTV.
New York
back
in
New
then.
those
York was,
days.
that was an exciting time.
The
and
State.
You were one. The State. Those guys were so good. You were one of the comics who, and we became that too, which I loved. Were comics who worked in the clubs, but also
Also would
the
work
alt-
do Rebar. Remember Rebar?
Oh,
Remember
yeah.
that was like one of our first shows we ever saw. This really said to I mean, this really informed the way that we were because we came to New York in '94, and then in '94ish 5, Kindler came to town, and he was someone who we loved so much. He was out in L.A. and he was someone we admired, and we brought him to the University of
Andy
Michigan.
Kindler, the
Andy
funniest
Kindler.
guy.
It's just brilliant. Kindler came to town, and he's like, "I'm doing Conan. Come with me." We reached out to us, and he said, "Come with me to this show that I'm doing on 16th and 8th called Rebar." And it was just a U shape of couches,
No mic.
no
No
mic. Here's who went up in the first. You went up. Mark Cohen hosted it. You went up. Louis went up. Liz Winstead went up and told like a deep story. Michael Ian Black did a thing. John Benjamin did a thing. Randy Perlstein, remember that guy? He did a little thing. It was so good. I mean, it was an unbelievable show, and it blew our mind. People were coming up from the audience, and like bits were happening like from the audience to the thing. And what it really told us was, if you did the obvious, the audience would not laugh at it at all. It was too smart of an audience to laugh at the obvious shit. So it told us you can't go up there and just do a bunch of twin jokes. Like no one's going to want to hear that. Whereas, in the 90s, 5 years earlier, that's all we would have done is just like a bunch of jokes about being twins. You came in here and it's like, you better be funny. If you're going to walk on this stage, you better bring something that is original and funny
Unexpected.
and not what we're expecting. And that informed in our little infant stages of writing comedy. Thank God. And Kindler, when he saw our act in Michigan, when we were there at University of Michigan, he was like, you guys got to get to a coast. Either come to LA where I am or go to New
Really?
York. He's like, a scene there will push you.
He's like, you got to get rid of all your material.
A scene will push you in the right direction because you guys are funny. You are funny, but like you got to get around people who will inspire you to do the right thing and push your material in the right direction. He was right. He was right.
100%.
It's amazing. That's great. Great advice.
Remember those first supporters, those first people that push you.
We try to be it for younger people. We try now that we've been around. People ask
People
us.
are like, stop giving us advice.
please, we don't want to end up like you.
Shut up.
But no, we will like, if someone's like, hey, will you watch my set? Of course, we'll watch it.
thought about saving up for a stylist?
Oh, for us? Just
Yeah.
because of our clothes? It just seems like an expense. That's
Like dressing like you're in show business.
no.
Like
No.
a team. Have you ever thought about dressing like a team?
Like what kind of
Like Penn
team?
and Teller wear the same thing. The Beatles wore the same, all the matching outfits. Like just for something
Can't.
Because
One time.
me and Teller are gonna do it, and then you're gonna be like, we should have just done it.
Well, you guys doing
You
it
guys
would
can
be
because you don't
fancy.
look alike. I think that's like the added level of. I think we do kind of dress in a similar way, but not exactly.
You two guys in like sharp suits with thin ties, that would be
But
badass.
Dave's still wearing his AutoZone hat. Fucking great, right?
Love it. Love it. Dildo.
What a
mic?
treat!
Come on.
This is a treat.
Tell me about what happened with roast battle.
Okay.
Last thing, because
So this is
Last thing,
amazing.
and then we'll give you a little advice for you and Dave. That's it. All right.
yeah.
So the roast battle thing, and we
Thank
talk about this on stage. We talk about it because we've incorporated it into our act in such a. You saw it the
I
other
love
night.
this because
I love it so much, and you're a part of
I
it.
wanted to do something really different on roast battle on Comedy Central, and somehow convince these two guys to roast battle one another. And
So that was from your side, and then you approached us and you said, "Guys, I have an idea, and I want you guys to consider it. I want you to roast each other." And we're like,
Dude.
"Jeff, first of all, thank you. We're flattered that you'd want us to do it." He's like, "No, for real. It's not a tournament this
Yeah.
year. We're doing it differently. I want you guys to be a main event on one of the shows, on one of the episodes. That's prime real estate on a show that is really." And we said, all right, Jeff, we'll think about it. I mean, this is not us. Like, we've spent 25 years creating a comedy career where we help each other out to build something bigger. I mean, we jokingly say on stage that we said, you want us to tear all that down in one night? And Jeff's like, yeah, and it should hurt a little bit. And we're like, how much are we getting paid? He's like, $2,500. We're like, each? He's like, yeah. We're like, all right, I'll do that. Sure, we'll tear it down.
I love that sound. Randy and I share the exact same DNA, which means I could kill and he could take credit for it, which is exactly what happens whenever we do stand-up comedy. Jason had a hemorrhoid surgery that didn't work. Okay. So win or lose tonight, his ass is getting creamed. You're like my hemorrhoids. You're shitty and I can't get rid of you.
Yeah.
And yet somehow you're a giant pain in my ass. Okay. Can I do my jokes? Do it.
Order.
But I mean,
Wow.
it took us like a good month because we're like, what?
I mean, and we had the deepest conversation. Like, I know some people say, let me think about it, and then they don't think about it, and they're like, oh, shit, I got to call this guy and tell him whether I'm doing this or not. We, like, got into deep conversations about, like, what is this going to mean?
Yeah.
What does this mean for us? And
Can we like that?
Can we recover if we come out of this thing? Will we
I
try
like
and go
the-
at each other too hard? You know.
There was
I
a
liked
million
it.
things.
I like that.
We were
You're
like,
thoughtful about it.
can we please just not put any restrictions? Nothing's off limits. We start getting into like what we can talk about, what we feel comfortable with. We got deep, and we're like, okay, we got
The thing that changed it for me was I thought to myself, we need to do something that you would never expect to see us do. Like, people have seen us in one way this whole time, but to jump outside that box,
Yeah.
and maybe there's a way we can thread the needle and do it our way, which feels different from every other roast, but
Right.
still be the roast, still
Right.
respect the roast.
Right.
And I felt like we were able to do it. And then when Brian came up, I mean, it was great. I felt like we wrote phenomenal jokes. We had a
Yeah,
little bit of
that was
help
great.
with friends. Thank you. We were really proud of the jokes we wrote.
What was your favorite one?
What was your favorite one?
Well, what's one that you were proud to say? Like you knew
I
you were
say
gonna fucking
I
get
love the joke. I don't even know if I did this on the roast battle or if I've written it since then. I say that we obviously have a lot of similarities. Oh no, my favorite joke was this. Randy is a Jew. That's
I'm
not
like,
the
is that
joke.
it?
No,
I'm
that's
like, is
not the
that
joke. Randy's a Jew and his wife is a Jew. This is true, and they have a Christmas tree in their house every year, which I think is weird. And I remember the first time he had the tree, he did call me and say, where should I put the tree in the house? And I said, put it under the photo of our grandparents who hid during the Holocaust. And they did. All of that is true. Grandparents hid during the Holocaust. Bump the mics. And that is like, to me, that is the deepest example of like, I know everything about this guy.
Because
Yeah.
all of it is
All
true.
of it is true to the core.
One of my
And
favorite.
then my tag on top of that was, do what Hitler couldn't do, phase out Judaism.
I said, I love this one that I came up with last minute. Like, no one knew just about it. I was like, Jason and I still celebrate our birthday together, just to give the illusion that Jason has friends too.
Great joke.
I love that.
It's a great joke.
Good
It's a
one.
great joke.
Oh my God.
Mean.
Judge
It was
Dildo
good.
approved.
It was
they were
good
mean.
and simple.
They were mean and they were funny.
My favorite one that we didn't do. That
Why
wanna
didn't
hear
you
them?
do it?
Because I thought it just maybe wouldn't ring. It wouldn't
Oh.
ring as hard as the other ones. My favorite one, I love this joke, but I'm like, it probably wouldn't have hit. I said, what'd I say? Here's how Jason is not like an abacus. You can count on an abacus.
That's a great. That's a great
It's
joke.
one of those things you
Wow.
take it and do the thing. So that joke is that I thought
Did I
was
say? I had one that I.
oh
knew.
the
Randy's a record collector. He holds the record for boring the most people while talking about his record collection.
that was good. I mean, these are just like we had such a good time writing all these. I mean, have I told you I'm getting the new Vampire Weekend this week?
All
Anyway,
right,
sorry. All right.
they
I'm
know
sorry. I'm
it's
sorry.
about- all right.
So no, but it just was so fun to do. And then when Brian came up to end it, we were like, Brian,
Go
sit
away.
the fuck down.
Yeah,
You got
more jokes.
Yeah.
And he turned around.
And Jamar's in the front. You know, like again, because we are such a part of this show. I really
Yeah.
do feel like we're a part of this show. We judge it.
Battle.
Yeah, we judge roast battle
All
in
the
the belly
once
room.
a month, at
Exactly.
least.
It is like we feel like we're a part of it. So the Wave and us, we are those are like
course.
our guys.
when
you know what I mean?
Jamar's like, keep
going,
going.
keep going.
Yeah.
So like we gotta and we like sit down, Brian, and we got more. And Jamar's in the front going, keep going.
Yeah.
And those guys dressed exactly alike and kind of like us, Willie and Jamar. It was making us laugh so hard.
And then we went after the judges, which was so much fun, and like all that. For
and
us.
you said like there were a couple things we said about you, Jeff, that you're like no one's ever made those jokes, and I love it so much. And just to us, we were like,
It's a unique battle.
it was a
really,
One for the ages.
yeah.
It felt really
You'll
special.
show it to your grandchildren someday.
They'll see it on YouTube. They'll find it.
It was truly a joy, and I'm glad we did it. And I feel like again,
We wouldn't have done it if you didn't push us.
and I'm so happy you pushed us because it took us outside of our
Yeah.
comfort zone to
Yeah.
like do something we would never normally do.
You got to follow that sometimes to grow.
Every time
You
And then
were
you
so
probably
right.
grew as brothers too in a weird way. I mean, who knows?
you grew in
But
a
when
way.
you roast somebody like that, you know that well.
What did Rickles always say? You only go after the people you love. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like I never took out a small person. Always go for
the
big
big
people,
guys.
You
And
know,
you are been a big audience. That's what he said at the end of all of his shows, and we remember
just
that.
feel like you stand out on we were in the Navy, and you stand out on that bow, and you look out there, and you think to yourself, white, black, Asian, Puerto Rican. Well, Puerto Rican,
Puerto
you
Rican,
got
yeah,
problems. Thought you would do that.
Rickles. So the
Anyway.
advice. So the advice we'll give you, and this will be the last thing we say, is the advice. I love that you guys are going out together, you and
Right.
Dave. and
Comedy team advice.
it's so funny, and the bumping mics special
Thank
and
you.
all this
It's
stuff
wonderful.
is just it's so unique and it's special and it's.
We'll be at the Mirage June 7th.
I did
I
not know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Amazing that dates are even on the books at this point.
But you guys, it's so distinctly you. It's like you together. It's like you said. It's the individual you guys coming together to make something that's bigger than both.
Greater
of you
than
guys.
both of you.
Yeah,
And
thanks.
I just love it. I would say appreciate all the good. Like really focus on the.
You
good
guys
and
are
the fun.
both so good in the moment. I would say have what you're doing be set in a way that there's room on stage for you to surprise each other.
And play.
You know what I mean? And play and have fun and always have a couple of things that keep him on his toes and vice versa. He's
like to repeat stuff. I like to
I
set him
know.
up for his best jokes.
Well, yes, I know.
Don't you get mad? Like, you ever set someone up and then they don't take the little
Yeah,
layup?
So make fun of him for not doing it, and then you start doing
You
his
do his joke.
And make him, you know,
Say like, here's the joke
Look
I
at
just set him up for that he doesn't want to do.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that.
do it. It's so good because it'll put him in a funny space, and he'll come up with something even funnier. He'll top it.
He'll leave.
He'll top it. He'll do something.
Sometimes he goes out in the middle of the show to smoke a cigarette, and I got to do it by myself
That's
for 2 minutes.
hilarious.
So just do here are all my setups.
that he was going to knock down.
That's
But
good advice.
just
I'm going to try
appreciate
that.
it.
I'm
Yeah.
going to do all that.
all of it. It's so good. It's so fun to watch.
Those real moments on stage are the best. You got to keep it live.
Yeah, you got to keep it loose. Well, we definitely keep it loose.
That's great.
That's the thing.
You do, and it's great because you really end up seeing how your guys' minds work in like real time. It's cool. Super fun to watch.
Right back at you, gentlemen.
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, everybody.
Randy and Jason Sklar. Dumb People Town.
Yep.
What's the other one called?
View from the Cheap Seats, sports and comedy. If you like sports, you'll love the
How
show.
come I never go on that show?
You want to
can.
talk
You
sports
come
with
talk
us?
sports?
I would love it.
Dude, I'm a sports expert.
So then
Let's
we'll
do-
have you on.
Dude, I'm a big
So-
Cosmos fan. And
Great. Let's New York Cosmos, Pele, Franz Beckenbauer.
I know a lot about sports.
Well, let's
Dude,
do
fucking
it.
Agassi's my boy.
Well, I don't know if he's still playing. I mean, like Agassi, that head of hair.
You got
he's
the Agassi haircut. I love it.
Don't you love how Agassi when he had hair, Brooke Shields when he
Dude,
lost
I
the
love
hair,
sports.
Steffi Graf.
All right.
Greatest running back in the league, Joe Gibbs.
So good. Joe Gibbs.
So old.
And Dumb People Town is our other podcast, and
We talked a long time, but we never leave without paying our respects to somebody we lost.
Okay.
This is Roast in Peace.
Do it.
Go ahead, Ed.
Peter Mayhew, the actor that played Chewbacca.
This one hurts, man.
Yeah.
I love this dude.
Most of the Star Wars movies, he was 74 years old, and he was 7'3".
That was his penis. Memorialized forever. Order.
I bet it was pink like a dog. Though.
By the way,
7'4",
7'3".
7'3".
Oh man.
Poor Peter Mayhew.
74.
That's old. That's
May-
old for a 7'3" guy.
Mayhew rest in peace.
Star Wars fans haven't been this upset since the last Star Wars movie came out.
This is the prequels.
Poor Chewbacca. He's survived by his sons Mo Rocca and Chris Rocca. A family spokesman said the funeral services will be held.
That's good.
I guess Han is truly solo now. All right.
fact
Peter
that this-
Mayhew. Yes.
The fact that this guy's dead and Jar Jar Binks still lives, that's
it's
the
not
greatest
fair.
problem.
It's
the
not
greatest
fair.
crime.
Peter Mayhew. Now he's in that big Comic-Con in the sky. Peter Mayhew, rest in peace.
There we go.
Yes.
Mayhew rest-
Chewbacca noise.
There you go.
Got it.
It was the mix of like 5 different animals together.
Right.
Really?
Yeah. So it wasn't actually a human making.
No, it was like a
noise.
lion and another thing and
Yeah.
a bear and a
It was sweet.
large gay man. I mean, all these things together.
Thanks for coming over late. This is really
Loved it.
fun.
Thank you.
I'm
Thanks
sorry
for
if I
having
was a little sleepy looking, but
Nah,
No,
dude,
dude,
it's
you were
perfect.
I really had fun talking to you guys.
Love it every time.
I like it kind of loose late at night. Did you do a spot tonight?
Yeah, we did.
We did.
We did a show tonight.
Nice.
Just show at Cantor's. It was like
Ooh.
a benefit show. It was
Yeah,
good.
it was fun. It was a big crowd. It was
Big
fun.
crowd. Tried some stuff. It was
In
good.
the kibitz room, or
No, it was
actually in Cantor's?
It was like in the room in between the bar and the maybe that is the
Awesome.
kibitz room. It's the
Yeah.
big. It's
Was there a stage?
yeah,
No.
there
Yeah,
was a stage.
that's the kibitz room.
No,
Yeah.
the kibitz room is like a tiny little rock
yeah,
room
that's
in
like
the
the
right.
shitty little bars. The
No.
so
kibitz room,
just next to that, in between that and the main
where the Guns N' Roses table is.
Yeah,
That's where
exactly.
we were.
Yeah, it was nice.
That's cool.
So it was fun. Yeah,
I
it was
love
good.
Canners.
Yeah, I mean, we were.
Turkey Reuben,
I had roast.
good.
Oh shit!
mishmash.
I have. I'm such an idiot. I'm gonna go to my car. I brought you guys sandwiches from this
Cantor's.
event. I brought corned beef and it's great, and you can keep it in your house. And
shit.
coleslaw and pickles. I brought it from
Let's
the
have a
event.
picnic right now.
Let's
Yeah,
do
let's
it.
do it.
I'm bringing it inside. I'm an idiot for not bringing
that
it.
a wrap?
Tonight's Thick Skin with Jeff Ross is sponsored by Jason Sklar.
Yeah. Boom. I'll give you a thick skin on a corned beef.
All right, time for Plug City, baby. Plug City, plug City. All right, historical roast. It's finally coming out Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th on Netflix. All 6 episodes. You gotta watch it. It's the coolest thing we've ever done. I promise you, you're gonna love it. Bob Saget's playing Abraham Lincoln. Come on, what else do you need? Go to jeffrossmerch.com to pick up your cool emotional support human t-shirt. The Thick Skin with Jeff Ross has merch finally. $30. Go get it. Also, while you're there, you can get an I'm Offended by People Who Are Always Offended baseball tee or a mug. We got all kinds of fun stuff. And Jeff's book is always available on Amazon. Go check it out there. This weekend, May 10th and 11th, Jeff's at the La Jolla Comedy Store. Go check him out there. Joe Dosh is opening for him. You love him from Roast Battle. And then Bumping Mike's tour. Holy smokes, this is going to be crazy. Memorial Day weekend, May 24th, May 25th, Bethlehem Sands Casino, Atlantic City, the Music Box at the Borgata. Just added a second show that night at 11 p.m. Go see the late show. That's going to be filthy. I guarantee it. June 7th and 8th, Jeff and Dave are going to be at the Mirage in Las Vegas. And then June 14th, they're going to be at Cabazon, California, the Morongo Casino. That's right by Palm Springs, baby. And then on the 15th, the night after that, they're going to be Funner, California, the Harrah's Resort SoCal. October 4th and 5th, Huntington, New York, the Paramount Theater. October 20th, Winnipeg, Club Regent Event Center. Go see Jeff and Dave do Bumping Mics, all new material. You love it. Roast Battle. big show. Yes, it's every Tuesday at the Comedy Store at 10 p.m. We know that. But it's going to be a Clusterfest. Friday, the 21st. You're going to love it. June 21st. Great judges for that. Whitney Cummings is going to be one of them. And guys, listen, we love your feedback. Rate and review the show on iTunes. Check us out on Spotify. And subscribe to our YouTube page where you can actually watch this podcast. Hello, how you do? All right, hit up Jeff on Cameo. He'll make you a video. He'll make your family a video. It's a great gift for whatever holiday's coming up. 4th of July, we'll call it. Oh, wait, no, Memorial Day. If you can't make the show, Jeff will send you a cameo and tell you why you should have been there. Email us directly at thickskinwithjeffross@gmail.com. And then Instagram is thickskinwithjeffross. Twitter, thickskincast. We love you, baby.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, everybody. Life is hard. Don't worry. We're getting through it together.